What's up, my family? How's everybody doing? I'm about to present a video to you today of something that I have been wanting to talk on for a while, and it just really hit me today and told me to go ahead and do it. It's something that I personally have went through, that I'm still going through, some realizations that I've had and some understanding that I just hope can help some people understand what it is that is kind of happening right now. And it will continue to happen for some time to different people at different stages in time. So I see a lot of people, they don't understand what's going on. They're not feeling well. They're kind of mentally out of balance. And these are some people that are working on themselves, that are taking the initiative to better themselves, that have done some pretty far out things. You know, they've experienced a bunch of things and they still feel not put together up in here. They kind of feel a little out of balance all over the place. And when we don't have this balance inside of us, it can make us reach towards resources or outside things that are going to create even more imbalance because we don't understand what's happening in the first place. So when we have these imbalances happening, the last place to look is outward, because it's all happening inside of us and the answers are found in here. So what am I talking about? There is a shift happening right now on the planet. It is a beautiful, amazing time to be alive. And it is also a very important time to be alive. It is a very, very important time to be waking up right now. And there's a lot of people that are not waking up, that are still turning away from what is happening. But there's a lot of people that are choosing to look through the smog and the smoke screens that have been imprinted on us since birth. They're kind of getting hit a little hard right now. When I went through my awakening, I had 2 to 3 years of complete depression, anxiety, dismemberment of my thoughts, and understanding of who I was. It's like when we have a freight train going one direction, how are you gonna stop that thing? It's little increments back onto the true path. There's no way that we're gonna stop this million-pound machine in just one instant, right? We have to navigate it slowly back to the right path. So the awakening that's happening on the planet, and for those of you that are watching this, you're part of it, because what you perceive, you will find. There's an awakening happening. There's a complete shift in energy. 100 years ago, 50 years ago, the energy was so dense, people never questioned their reality. They never thought outside the box. They never questioned authority. They just did what they were told. And there were some very small groups of people that were, but you never really heard too much about them. There's books written by them, and they're the great masters, really, that have led the way up through history. But right now, there is a total shift, and we are part of that shift, my friends and family. We are part of it. Whether you choose to take your part in it, or you can go live your life and forget about, you know, kind of what I'm talking about. But if you're watching this, there's something there. So there's a lot of information coming in from the universe to help us out. A ton of information, a ton of downloads, a ton of deep changes that can happen inside of us if we let them happen. They speak to us through numbers on the clock, through synchronicities with people. Books will fall off the shelf for you. You know, you'll meet people in your life that will give you the healing that you need to rise to where you need to be able to handle the messages that are coming in. There's a special group of people sent here to planet Earth during this age to help change the frequency of the planet. And there's a lot of different names out there. Star seeds, indigo children, I mean, all these different names. But I don't want to focus so much on the names, because the names and the terminology, that can kind of like, I feel like some people, they don't really want to pick that kind of stuff up. All I can say is you're a special group of people. Because if you look at what's happening across the planet, there's things that are happening that haven't shifted in hundreds of years. People are starting to wake up and care about the planet. People are starting to wake up to realize the medical system that we have in front of us is a bunch of nonsense. The system that teaches us information, school, right? We don't learn how to grow our own food. We don't learn how to be healthy. We don't learn how to connect to our Creator. We don't learn how to deal with our emotions. We don't learn how to meditate. You know what we learn? We learn how to be a 9-to-5 robot. We learn how to be on time. We learn how to show up for work. And we learn all these intellectual knowledge that will send us out to a job to work and keep the system, the freight train, going. But people are waking up. We are waking up, and there are the generations before us. They had it a lot rougher than us, because society wasn't accepting of this type of mentality and information. And they had to go through a lot of work for us to have this path before us, that we can talk about this stuff openly without being shunned or burned at the stake or all this stuff that used to happen in history. And it's time. People are seeking healing. They know something isn't right and they don't know what it is. But my family, all the answers are inside of yourself. All of it. The key, the biggest key to the making this puzzle happen is giving yourself time to understand yourself. It's so important. So we must adopt discipline into our life so we can handle this information, and when the changes come, we can handle it. Yoga is a beautiful science. The yogis have it figured out. No one on the planet has everything figured out. Or maybe somebody does, I don't really know. But if you want to handle some serious information and bring yourself into balance, yoga is a beautiful discipline to bring into your life. I don't know where I would be and who I would be without it. And I'm not talking about the physical asanas, because that's like 1% of it. To really understand yourself and understand life, we must research, we must read, we must seek. And when the understanding comes, the ease and the balance comes in, because your soul is screaming to be let loose. And the ego keeps all this stuff locked away from us. We go through a complete veil of forgetfulness when we come into this body. We don't remember who we are. My family, we are limitless beings in a body. We must think limitless thoughts and reach out for the limitless energy that's out there, that is just waiting for us to call it in. And all you have to do is ask. That's it. Is have the awareness enough to bring it in. And when we start asking and we start speaking and communicating with our higher self, your whole life will change. And the imbalances and all the wishy-washiness that happens, that can manifest into the physical so much. We don't understand what's going on in the body. But we must bring discipline into our life now more than ever in an undisciplined world. This is an undisciplined world. We eat ourselves to death. We smoke ourselves to death. We drink ourselves to death. We work ourselves to death. We do everything except be with who we are. It is so important. It is so important to be with who you are It's so simple that people cannot comprehend how much healing will come to your life from simply being and letting things happen. So if you're ill, if you have some sort of physical problem, or you're not feeling right up in this area, like you wake up, and I mean, I still go through it. I still wake up and I go through periods of time where I cut the world out. I go to my books, I go to my music that takes me to certain places. My meditations are I focus on them even more. But when I'm feeling great, when I'm feeling like the top of the world, I'm still doing the same things as when I'm feeling at the bottom of the world. Because the discipline is what will carry you through. And I make so many videos about food. Food is so vastly important because it's gonna build the structure that handles this information, and it houses the soul that we are. If your soul's trying to come out and give you higher vibrational feelings, it's trying to climb out of the lower nature, it's trying to help you understand yourself, we have to change what we put in here so this energy changes and we can support a higher energy of feeling better. It's so simple if you understand how it works. And the only reason why I understand how it works is because I lived it. I went through a period of time of complete depression and anxiety and physical pain. I was like, I'm not even 30 years old, my life's over. My physicality was taken from me. I thought I was gonna be walking around for the rest of my life with a cane. I couldn't bend down to pick up my 5-pound poodles. I would bend down to pick them up and I'd have to get down onto my knees, and I'd bring them up, and I would like crutch up, and I would shuffle around the house for, you know. And then, by the blessing and the grace that was bestowed upon me, I somehow climbed out of that despair. But I put myself there. It was all my choices led me to that place of so sick that I barely was hanging on. My friends and family have no idea. The only ones that do are the ones that were living with me at the time. My wife, I had a roommate. No one knows how. They're pretty much the only ones, but even them, they don't understand about what's going on in here. Because now that I'm clean and I'm clear, well, in my own consciousness, I have a much longer way to go, but where I'm at now, I look back on the thoughts that used to cross through my head, and I look back on the actions that I used to do, and now no wonder life crumpled me up into a ball. I deserved every single ounce of that. But grace is waiting for you to reach out and grab it. All we have to do is we have to think. And I found the tool of ayahuasca, but that was a tool that I chose to use to diagnose my life and bring me out of the despair and the darkness that I was in. But that journey, I learned so much, and I'm going to give specific testimonies about what I have went through. But this isn't a testimonial video per se. This video is to, I'm doing my best to try to explain what is happening right now on the planet and what is happening to you if you choose to understand it this way. It will bring a lot of understanding. We can turn and call it anxiety. We can turn and call it depression. We can turn and call it all these different disorders. But if we don't give it a name, right? It's just who we are right now, but we can change. I'm a lifestyle medicine coach. I'm studying very deeply into lifestyle medicine. Because lifestyle choices is your medicine. That is how we're going to change, my friends and family. It's how we're going to change the world. Lifestyle choices. What we do to ourselves, what we do to others, and what we do to this living, organic, loving, merciful planet that we exist on. Everything must change. But the changes have to come from feelings, and the feelings come from information that are coming in. We have to accept and open ourselves up to this. But our bodies and our state of being right now, we're so dysfunctional and off track from our true purpose that we have to work at it. This is where the discipline comes in. Build a system in your life. I wake up, I do this, I do this, I do this, I eat this way. This is my foundation. It's not who you are, it's the tools that you have in your life to support yourself. So you can fly and be a beautiful human being that doesn't wake up and feel spun, or you want to turn to some medication that is going to numb you from the feelings that you're feeling, because those feelings are going to lead you back to the path of your true self. So why would we want to numb them? We must feel them. In fact, when you're starting to feel out of balance, go do something that's going to intensify those feelings. Get over it. Get through it. We can make it last. This is why my flotation tank and the fasting that I do and the eating the way that I do and the meditations that I do, there's sometimes I don't want to go in that float tank. I don't want to be with my thoughts. I get in there and I just like, poof, here they are. And I work through them and I come out and I'm like, oh, whoo. Some days I think I'm losing my mind. I barely hold myself together sometimes. When the full moons come around, it's like a punch to the face. I feel the suffering of this planet, of the people, and it makes me want to just keep going with what I'm doing. But sometimes I just want to close my eyes and go live in an island somewhere. So my battle in life, because I've always been that type of person, I could disappear and go live in the middle of a cave somewhere and, like, you know, I can really like let myself go like that. But which has its purpose. So I'm finding a balance in that and existing here, doing these type of things. But when I see people going through exactly, like I see them and they're telling me how they feel, and I totally understand. It's not a physical issue. It's not so much a mental issue. It's an everything issue. We have to realign ourselves. You already know the answers. You wake up every day and in the back of your head, your consciousness is telling you things that you know that you should be doing. But we don't do them. They're the things that are going to bring you out into the light. So start with just one thing. Write it down on a piece of paper. And don't forget it. Don't always look about what we need to add in. Look about what we need to stop doing. What we should stop doing. So I ask you, whoever's looking at this right now, what's one thing in your life that you can stop doing? What's one thing? Pick it, do it. You'll feel better. It's a beautiful time to be alive. I have found, I'm starting to truly find why I'm here. And death and existence and all these things start to make more sense. But that's a whole other thing. I'm just telling you that when we start to align ourselves back onto our path, things that we don't want to think about, like death, you know, our society really runs away from it, which is, we don't talk about it. We should be talking about this more, you know? It's a serious thing. It's gonna happen. It's a big thing in our life. What is it? What happens after it? Everybody's trying to, you know, but there's an understanding that happens in here about things like this. And it's a beautiful time to be alive. If you are not feeling well, there's a way to find happiness, peace, grace. Rise up out of our lower nature and find your higher self. And changing yourself and healing yourself is the medicine for the world that everyone needs. I want to see each and every one of you thrive and be happy and look at the sun without having a million different things on your mind, to realize what the sun does for us, to feel the earth, to eat food that is good for us and enjoy it and nourish ourselves, and to not need all these external stimuli. You complete yourself. It's a journey. Start the journey. Get the ball rolling today. Please, if there's anything that I can do for anybody, please let me know. Questions I can answer that you think that I could answer for you, I'll do my best. Or I can recommend someone or somewhere to go or a book to read that can answer it for you. Because I've experienced a lot of different things to get to where I'm at now from where I was. And my experience is my medicine. That's all that I have to offer. It's just what I've been through. That's it. So, please, my family, I just want everyone to be well. It's time to change the planet. The time is right now. And it has got to happen fast. So let's wake up, because time is flying, you know? Man, it's time. It is so time for this old stuff to just go away and bring the new in. Let's do it. Join the team. Join the club. It's a beautiful thing. Grace is a beautiful thing, my family. I love all of you. Take care of yourself. It's taking care of the world.